What is the mandate of NIS? It's a very simple question to explain, but it is a very hard answer to receive. But I'll try. I have had this challenge for quite a long time. I remember the first time I tried to handle that problem was in the mid-80s, around 1985. And whenever I answered the question, people would answer me. After I had said everything, there were a few reactions people would say, and I'll give you all the reactions. I would receive about 5% people who would really believe me. And I'm sure even after watching this video, I would not be shocked if people would still doubt or even would think otherwise. Those days and even today, you find that you explain something. After you have explained, you find somebody saying, hivyo ndivyo ulitumwa. Or now that you have told us what you have told us, what you have been said to tell us, now tell us the truth. Tell us how the whole issue is, because you have told us what you are sent to tell us. Now tell us what special branch is. Talking about intelligence would take 100 such recordings. The recording I'm giving you now, I'll get 100 such recordings for me to cover the whole thing. You should also appreciate that the mandate or the targets of intelligence change with time. In the mid-80s, 85 when I started saying this, the threat was Shifter and Goroko. Today, the threat is Al-Shabaab and ISIS. The threat is cyber. The threat is changed. So and you see I've been out of the job for quite some time. So I'll try to talk in a simplified manner, because whether they change, the threats change, whatever, but the work or the mandate of NIS remains the same. I would start to say this is a very useful department of the government. And you will notice its usefulness because it is a department that is run by very few people. For every 200 people in an area working for the National Police Service, we have 3 members of NIS. But you'll also notice that the budget for NIS is more than that of NPS. This is deliberate because that is a very important department. I would request you, when you have, especially Kenyans, we find that in Kenya, many people see things, but they do not want to be quoted. You have a neighbor who is doing this and that, and you fear that if you go to the police station, your identity will be known. You fear that you will be taken to court and that person may come and harm you later. You may have a problem, or you may have noticed something that you do not know of which ministry handles it. It's best if you went to the NIS and told them. You are assured of confidentiality. You are sure that you'll not be called to court. And especially if what you know is not 100% correct. You may find that what you know may need further investigations. That is why I request you to go to the NIS, tell them the extent that you know. The problem Kenyans have is that you know something 5%, but you claim to know 95%. You go and tell government things, and then you want them to be done. You don't want your identity to be known. You have very scant information. You have whatever, and you want things to happen in a flash. The best way I can advise you, go to the NIS, tell them everything, and then leave everything to them. Don't even go back to counter check or anything. They will, at their own time. You know, if you go and report openly, the person you are reporting on, maybe the evidence you have is not sufficient or whatever. That person becomes, they say forewarned is forearmed. The person knows that, and the person now plans to do, if somebody has a vehicle and maybe brings bang all the way from Tanzania, Tarime, Tanzania, and you say that he will change the system, maybe he'll start using a plane, or maybe he'll start using motorbike or something, because he knows that he has been reported. But NIS will monitor him. NIS will know at the appropriate time to do that, and NIS will have the evidence which they'll give it to the DCI, and the DCI will then take the appropriate time when there is full evidence. The earliest recorded time for intelligence was in the old Bible, where 12 young boys from 12 tribes of Israel were taken to Canaan to go and investigate and find out. They mingled with the Canaanites without the Canaanites knowing that these were people who were spying them. They stayed in a very normal life, and then when the time came, they went back. And out of the 12, there are some who came with zero information, there are others who came with full information, and that is how intelligence works. It works with various sources so that they come up with a middle ground which is right. In Kenya, we used to have intelligence. Intelligence used to be part of the CID, including the Mau Mau time. And any attempt to make intelligence to be a fully fledged department like the CID was a bit hard, because those days the intelligence level was low. So initially, and that is why it used to be called special branch. In Britain, like any other Western countries, there are various arms of intelligence. Now, the criminal, today we call it CIU, Criminal Intelligence Unit, a part of the CID. Those people who started it were people known to me, like Moses. They were brought in specifically from the NIS, and they started the Criminal Intelligence Unit, whereby they are both trained in CID and they are trained in intelligence. So the NIS started off initially as special branch of the CID. If you go to Britain, they still have special branch. Within the detective department of the British police, they have people who investigate criminal intelligence. So NIS started off as a criminal intelligence arm of the CID. But later, with politics and freedom fighting and whatever during Kenyatta's time, intelligence and also there was also this communism that was coming, and so on and so forth. These things are the ones which brought up about a problem that came up and started a special branch, which now started investigating political activities, trade union activities, and so many things. So you find that the mandate was now extended to cover other fields. And that is why in 1968, in State House, Mombasa, President Mzee Jomo Kenyatta wrote the first letter to the Director of Intelligence, then James Kanyotu Kariuki, it was a directive. A directive is an order. He ordered James Kanyotu and people working under him to investigate things A, B, C, D. And that was what was called Special Branch Directive number 1. Then from there, Kanyotu brought up a book that was similar to the Service Standing Order. The book was called Special Branch Directives, where directive number 2 said this, directive number 3, it was just like a service standing orders that is done by the National Police Service. So the intelligence started going. You'll find that in the 60s, special branch target used to be mostly, political, yes, from the day one, but also this issue of shifter and goroko was very much in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And also there was the problem of coming up with things such as communism and so on and so forth. So it went on that way, and it changed and changed, and that is why I'm telling you that today you'll find that they have a threat that is called cybercrime. When I was working for them, we could not envisage that. Lastly, I would say intelligence has now even gone further. For example, somebody working for Mumia Sugar Company may want to know the secrets of Sony Sugar Company, or Broadways may want to know about Superloaf. So they may find somebody, employ that person, and then that person goes to the other company and pretends to be a cashier or whatever, and monitors how those people handle their welfare and such a thing. So I'll end where I started by saying that if you have any information that you feel is very serious and very whatever, then kindly, of whatever mandate it is, kindly go and see the NIS person who will listen to it and determine which department it is. And in many cases, you may find that after telling them, you may not want that you to be connected to that. That is where the NIS works well, and it will do that, or it will even carry further investigations and then inform the relevant department. Any question that you may want added, kindly ask in the comment section and I will answer you. Thank you.